Today, the moon continues in Gemini, and I had some really powerful thoughts to share with you yesterday on Gemini Moon, and the power of not knowing, and how that Gemini superpower helps us with this Taurus moon cycle that is about manifesting more of the things we want for our lives and for the world around us. So, that yesterday's Gemini moon and talking about the power of not knowing. So today, what we're going to do is unpack that a little further and get a little practical. I love practical tips with 3 ways to let go of old thinking so that we can make room for those new possibilities, those new ideas, that thinking that is in alignment with the things we want so that we can create it more powerfully. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Friday, May 10th. And with the moon is in Gemini most of the day today. Later in the day, it goes into Cancer. So we'll have a Cancer moon all weekend with the cozy Cancer, sensitive, vulnerable feeling. So just that Cancer self-care heading into the weekend. But as we think about the Gemini moon today, and just giving you some more practical tips on how to let go of that old thinking. So if you missed yesterday's video, you may want to go watch that first, because that one was really important in terms of the context of what we are, how we're using this Gemini energy to shift our thinking. Okay, and I sort of unfolded how not knowing and creating that space for new possibilities is a way of getting ourselves and our thinking in alignment with the outcomes we want to create the results we want. So there you go. I just gave you the recap, but still go watch it because it was really very helpful, I think, in breaking it all of this down and how it fits with the Taurus moon cycle. And we're in times of change. Jupiter Uranus conjunction, Pluto now retrograde in Aquarius, some of these outer planets taking us into the exploration of new versions of ourselves, self-discovery in new ways. So with this change energy, we want to align our thinking with the thoughts that are going to help us to step more fully into our potential to create the results we want, to manifest the outcomes we want. So here are 3 ways to let your old thinking make way for new possibilities. First of all, forgive yourself, because we all have old thinking. So you're not wrong or bad if you have these old ways of thinking that limit you, or that that might interfere in some ways with the ability to be open to the results and creating them, and what it looks like to be in alignment. So it's okay if you have them. In fact, you should have them, right? It's normal. Okay, there we are. So number 1, 3 ways to let the old thinking make way for the new possibilities. Number 1 is first notice. First notice the thought you're having, and what do these thoughts look like? Anything that makes you feel frightened, overwhelmed, anxious, feeling like it can't be that way. I'm this way, so I can't do that. Something will never be possible. Anything that is limiting the possibility is what we're talking about here. So it's a thought that is not in alignment with you creating the results you have stated you want through your intention, which we talked about earlier this week in terms of intention setting around the new moon that was on Tuesday. So stating your intention, and then you want to make choices for yourself that are in alignment with that intention. So how do you do that? Okay, so first, if you're having a thought, an old way of thinking that is not in alignment with the outcome you want to experience, the step one, all it is notice you're having it, because it's the unconsciousness of the thought that is where we get stuck. So very, very powerful and very, very important to simply notice you're having it. Notice it, call it out, go, wow, that thought is not helping me get where I want to be. Okay, so that's step one. Notice you're having the thought. Notice it's limiting you. Notice you have made a foregone conclusion already before stepping into the future where we don't know what's going to happen, right? It's Gemini Moon. I don't know. Yesterday's video, the power of not knowing. Okay, so don't know. Don't have a foregone conclusion. Okay, so that's step one. Notice that you're having the thought. Step two, deep breath. A deep breath. Thank yourself for recognizing that you're having that thought, because that in itself is a superpower. So your ability to notice you're having that thought, just be so kind and so grateful to yourself for noticing that. So take a nice deep breath, go, wow, I am really limiting this thinking. I am really limiting what is possible by my thinking. This is a thought that is not in alignment with what I want to create. Thank you. So thanking yourself for recognizing that you're having that thought. And we're talking about gratitude practices this month too, so you can be grateful to yourself, which is perfect place to put your gratitude. Very powerful. All right, so number one is notice you're having the thought that is not in alignment with what you want to create. Number two is take a deep breath and thank yourself for recognizing that you're having that thought and that it's not helpful. Number three, so what do we do next? Number three, ask yourself, what is another way I could think about that? Don't answer that question, right? So the power of the new thinking, the new idea, is that it doesn't exist yet. And so by not filling in the answer, you are asking the universe, what is another way I could think about that? Now, it might just be a deep breath, and then you're like, oh, okay, I see how I could think about that differently. Here's my reframe. Here's my different version of that thought that I could embrace instead, or could at least be willing to try or open to. It might take you longer than a breath. You might not have an answer. And I would say it is much better to not have an answer than to fill in the answer with something that is closing you off from future possibilities. So no answer sometimes is the answer. And so number one is notice the thought that is not in alignment with what you want. Number two is take a deep breath and thank yourself for recognizing that you're having that limiting thought. And then number three is asking the question, what is another way I could think about that that would be more in alignment with what I want to create? And again, don't fill it in with an answer, because sometimes we feel like we have to fill it in with an answer, and the only answer we have is the negative one. So if you can at least not repeat the negative one for yourself, you've already made a huge amount of progress. Now, that might leave you in a place of discomfort. I don't know, can be uncomfortable, but try it. Try it in baby steps. Do some self-care. Be kind to yourself. Be forgiving and patient with yourself, because wherever you're at with this, it could be a process for you. So, but I've been working with this for 30 years in my own process and with clients, and it's powerful stuff. So These are 3 ways to let your old thinking make way for new possibilities to support yourself in aligning so that you can create or manifest some of the outcomes you want, whether it's something that you wish was different about your own life, the people around you, the things you're doing, the way your day goes, whatever, or whether it's something in the world that you're worried about. So, creating the outcome of what it looks like when the happy thing is there, when it's the healed, creative, open, possible, new possibilities, new discoveries, that kind of outcome. Okay, so now the 3 ways to let old thinking make way for new possibilities. Number 1, notice the thought that is not in alignment. Notice where your thought is limiting the possibilities. 2, take a deep breath. Thank yourself for recognizing that. And 3, ask yourself, what is another way I could think about that? Something that's more in alignment with creating the outcomes I want, with co-creating, with showing up the way that I need to show up for those outcomes to manifest. All right. And then not filling it in. So no answer until there is an answer, and you'll know, oh, that feels so much better. I like that answer. That really makes sense. Or it's like, I don't know. And so just don't fill it in, right? Just leave it blank. Blank is better than something that's not in alignment, because blank is open, blank is filled with possibility. All right, thank you so much for being here. Let me know what you're grateful for today. We have our Taurus moon cycle gratitude challenge. So gratitude is such a great way to align with the things you want to create, the things you want to manifest, the results you want to see, and being grateful to yourself for watching this video and for taking the moments out of your day to honor and recognize yourself and your process. We're working with the power of astrology to understand ourselves more deeply and align with our highest possibilities and our human creative potential to participate and co-create the things we want to see, especially with this Taurus moon, where we're talking about results and our relationship with the physical world and the way things manifest. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for subscribing and letting me know what you think. Please pass these videos on to your friends if you are enjoying them. And thank you so much for your support. You can find more about me, Marina Orms, at astrologyheals.com. And I'll see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.